Hi guys, and welcome to the episode. Here we go.
Let's do this.
Pew 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 pew.
So I left the house this morning. Went straight to Curry's. I give myself a time. I give myself 10 o'clock to leave the house and get to Curry's because that's what time it opens. I got down there and basically at the doors, where the sliding doors open, they put these they'd had these desks at the doors, and there was people there stopping you going in. And I went up to the door and I was just like, I need to get this item. And they said, oh, well, you have to order it online, click and collect only. So I went through the form online, and then basically sat in the car outside trying to get the confirmation email so I could pick the item up. The item got cancelled, so I went up to the desk and I shown it the guy, and I'm just like, mate, it's been cancelled. You can clearly see I filled the form in. The item's in this store, and I have the money to pay for it. Why can't you just process the order? And he's like, oh, we can't do that. You have to order online. I said, yeah, but you're receiving the money and you're giving me the item. We both have what the other person needs, and I'm here right now. Why can't you just process it? You've seen I've tried to do it online, and I just don't I don't understand the policy. They're saying that maybe they're only allowed to do it as click and collect because of this lockdown, but once they've seen I've tried to do that, and I'm already at the store, and they have the item in stock, surely in them circumstances they can just process it for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like on South Park when they've got the square cut out of their nipples, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and they're just tweaking their nipples, and they're like, "Can I speak to a manager?" And then the manager comes up behind him, and he's also got his nipples on show being tweaked as well. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's such a strange situation, isn't it? And like,
yeah.
What I find as well is with this COVID thing that's gone on is like you go into Curry's and go into electrical shops, like the way you can kind of like one way of perceiving it is that's an external, like if you look at COVID and you look at the health thing, you look at it objectively, like the things like electrical shops, and I get why, you can argue that that's a necessity, and you can, but these are all like just external practical things. Like for example, if something goes wrong, that's like, let's say something goes wrong with the cooker, or something goes wrong with your washing machine or your laptop, like, yeah, you can argue that that's like really, really crucial. But I think what's more crucial, it should be things that directly impact your health and your body specifically. Like if there's a virus that's killing everyone, let's ensure that our bodies and our immune system are high. So I think personally the necessity lies in, supplementation stores, things like, oh, let's make sure that there's enough, vitamin D and zinc and, magnesium, the things that we know will fight the virus,
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And so like gyms should be open, like that should be
There's a new thing, dude. There's a new announcement. Apparently, gyms are now being added to the essential list of things that are allowed to stay open, which I agree with from the start. I think that you can look at the risk of a virus or something else, but you can't let it compromise other things in your life. There's a balance in there. There comes a point where the risk is outweighing the risk of other things like mental health and stuff. So I think gyms never should have been closed. What I agree with more than anything, I think you go at your own risk. It's like if you went somewhere that was dangerous. Do you know what I mean? But you've chose to go there, and there's a risk of you getting injured, or I don't know. Say you went somewhere and did some climbing or something, and there's a risk of you falling, but you've chose to go and do that. Them places don't say, no, you can't do this thing because there's a risk of injury. Of what they do is they tell you the risk, and then they give you the option of doing it. So you've still got the choice, and that's why I think they're going wrong with this thing. I think they should identify who's at risk and then just say to them, you're at risk of being in trouble. If you catch this virus, you may get severely ill, or it may even constitute the chance of risking. Yeah, so then people should be personally told, but they shouldn't be told you're not allowed to leave the house. Go at your own risk. If you want to leave the house, go out, man. You know what I mean? I don't think they should. They're effectively treating free people as prisoners in a way, aren't they? They've turned the country into a giant prison, which I think is stupid.
Yeah, I do. And it's also is your value.
Dude, sorry to interrupt. There's something to do with the light outside's making loads of glare on your screen. Can you see it?
It's because my windows are insanely clean.
Is that from your days of doing window cleaning? Remember you said that to me when you was trying to compliment the fact that we put all that effort in, and as you were saying it, you realised I'd not gone out door knocking at all. And you was like, I'd done 6 hours a day of door knocking, and you didn't do any door knocking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I wanted to build a bridge of friendship and loyal and like beauty through.
You know what it's like? It's like
difficulty of our time, both doing that together.
Yeah, it's like if you was going to compliment on someone on something, but it was like clearly not the truth. Do you know what I mean? Like clearly didn't happen, and you just, as you're saying it, you're thinking, I can't even say that because it's not the case. That looks better, mate.
Bit more light.
Yeah. The fruit bag. The fruit bag today is red and green hues. A light bluish hue.
My plums. My hips rusting down on Donna.
Let the boy watch. He needs to learn.
Dude, so this is what I think, right? You keep being late to the podcast, and I think this is how it goes down if you and I would have if we were to fight, if we had a fucking, let's go, dude, fucking bite down, let's fucking groom, and let's fucking fight. This is the way I see it going, right? I see you making a fist, okay, like this, incorrectly for a start. You're gonna tuck your thumb in between your four fingers, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna get emotional, and you might cry whilst you attack me. First of all,
turn up incorrectly dressed, like in a leotard or something.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're gonna get it wrong. So you're gonna perhaps dress for a different sport, and I'm like, no, we're bearing down now. This is and this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna attack me, but you're gonna as if you're a rapper.
Why have you arrived in a wetsuit, Paul? This is a fight, not a surfing match.
And you're gonna hit me on the chest, like as if you're a heartbroken ex-girlfriend that's just found some bad news, and you're a broken little soul, and you're just gonna start attacking me, and you're gonna start hitting me on the chest, and it's gonna be really pathetic. I'm gonna throw you to the ground.
What you're saying is it's gonna lack masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be like a feminine. Do you remember on Thingy where he goes, the sound of your piston in the urinal, it sounds feminine.
Yeah. Like how I imagine your fighting technique would be somewhat similar to a wet
lettuce.
Wet lettuce, or a wet, or just a wet box that's really sodden. It's been outside. It started to fall apart.
Cardboard box that's no longer good enough to harbour goods. Stick anything in that box and it's gonna crumble.
Yeah. And yeah, and then I think for me it's more of a lion. More of a. Not a lion, maybe
a lion in a pack, or just like a lone, hungry lion.
Not hungry. Full.
Did you ever watch the motivational speech with the comparison to a lion and gazelle?
Yeah, I've watched probably 100 of your stories where every morning you've got the what's the guy name? The black dude who's like, there's a lion in it. Because in fact, I sent you the voice recording. I sent you my own little motivation. I wonder if we could find that, my own little motivation, where I was like, Paul, you're a lion, you're gonna hunt the gazelle, and you get out there and you eat, and then you don't, and then it just made no sense. You remember?
I'm trying to find it. The lion and the gazelle.
Dude, this could be a year ago. This was a voice recording that I did, and it could have been a year.
Oh no, I'm not trying to find that. I'm looking for the.
This makes good podcast audio. Like when we go to iTunes and Spotify, this will make great podcast noise. I'll fill it. I'll fill the gap. So continuing the fight.
I found it, dude.
Timing impeccable.
Can you hear it?
In Africa, it does not make a difference when the sun comes up. Boom!
Boom! Lord have mercy!
I noticed that the gazelle is running, and I asked myself, what's the difference? And I got it. The gazelle is running. The gazelle is afraid. The gazelle understands that if it does not stop running, or if it stops running, it's going to die. But I watched it long enough, and I saw the gazelle stop, and I said, ooh, I need to chase. It's not being pushed. It's not being prodded.
Nice pinky finger.
No, it's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
Do you like the music in the background?
That alarm clock still has to get you up. Why? Because you're
very inspiring. It makes me want to. It makes me want to run up a hill and wrestle with a dog, with a wild pack of dogs.
It make you want to do press-ups
before a night out.
Heavy man on your back.
Yeah, before a night out.
With a man on your back like a rucksack.
Yeah, wear him like a rucksack.
I don't know where I was going with the lion and the gazelle thing.
How would you wear a man on your back? This is what I'd do. I'd thread my hands up his trouser leg and up his trouser leg, and then
grab his crotch.
Put like a grab. My right hand grabs the right testy. My left hand grabs the
left.
First
of all, I'd get him an erection
round my neck.
First of all, he needs an erection, and I just hold it tight. Grab a dog and choke it.
First of all, I'm going to take him to dinner. Yeah, how do you wear a man on your back? Take him to dinner.
I'd like to take him to the movies. What do you mean, like a piggyback?
No, you have to wear him.
What I do, going back to what we were saying, what I find maddest about this.
Is that the correct word, maddest?
These temporary laws that they're bringing out, like there's no other situation in life where they'll just pass a temporary law for a little bit. Whereas if you do this, you'll get massive fines, or you can risk getting your business closed, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's utter fucking bullshit.
Dude, you fell into a trap with me where every time you stand up, I feel like you're going to turn around and fart on the camera. And I get slightly excited and you keep disappointing me.
I'm sorry, we do need a fart mic.
Yeah. I think that it doesn't happen often enough now. I think you come out strong at the start with that fart at the first ever time, and it was genuine. It come naturally, and you've never done it since, which I'm worried about.
It was a statement. It was poetic. I cried after that, actually. I rang my
mum.
Pardon?
It really, dude, it really resonated with me. The sound. I feel like it was on the same frequency as me. You know, when it come through my mic.
Yeah, like it wouldn't sound out of place with the lion and the gazelle story. Like it'd fit in. Like
it wouldn't. Somewhere. Do you know if you're in the jungle and you hear two animals making a mating call, and the sound, they're on the same they're communicating well and they're just understanding each other. I feel like I was on that sort of level with it.
Do you think you could jerk off to the sound of animals fucking? Like what animals what animals do you reckon you could get on board with? Like, if you have two animals and they're fucking, like, what are the two animals that you could be like, oh yeah, it's kind of hot. But you've only got a soundboard, you've only got a sound clip. What do you think?
I think you'd choose.
Okay,
two
you
big
do me and I'll
mooses.
do you. Go on. Who would I choose?
You'd choose two big greasy mooses. Then down, thrusting down on Donna.
Have you heard what they sound like? They sound terrifying.
No, but I've heard of it. What Ace Ventura does on the plane. It's sound of a moose during mating season.
Oh, what with the yak? Yak.
Yeah.
Canadian. Canadian. See,
yeah,
I think for you, you'd mix it up. I think for you, you would you'd have two animals that perhaps, because I think for you, it's not enough. Like if you were just two, let's say you hear two ducks and they're fucking, that's not enough for you. I feel like you just be like, ah, it's too.
Like a duck and a giraffe.
Yeah, it'd have to, yeah, it'd have to be like, or it'd be like the wrong hole. So it'd be like, perhaps you've got a gazelle and it's fucking, or no, a horse and it's fucking the trunk of an elephant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very insightful. Going back to what we were saying about because obviously I know you're sort of in your van at the moment and you're taking some online coaching sessions, but what effect is it having on you in terms of day to day? Like, you're not able to go to your gym. I don't know how often you go out for food, but
yeah.
What areas is it causing you to think that it's shit?
Pardon?
What other areas is it causing you to think, well, it's shit, what's going on? I'm not able to do this. This is part of my daily routine.
Yeah, I've lost, obviously, like, naturally lost a couple of clients. I actually lost a toe. One of my toes gone. This happened last time during COVID. It came back, but just during lockdown, my toe disappeared. My one in the middle. So it was like, it was not the big toe and not the next one, but the next one down. I hadn't actually noticed it for a while. It took me a while to notice that it was gone.
He was missing a limb.
Yeah, and it grew back, but so it's gone again now.
You know what observation I made the other day?
What's that, mate?
So to be a Paralympian, which is somebody that takes up sports that's missing a limb.
Yeah, not as
that's
many
missing a limb. I wonder if someone's missing like a thumb. If someone's missing a thumb and then someone else is missing a leg, are they able to? Because they're still missing something, aren't they? So if he's missing like a hand and someone's missing a leg, are they still able to do a race, or would they have to be paired up in?
Good question. Yeah, like, and when you bite your fucking nail too short, like that's fucking when you bite your nail too short, like, are you gonna be able to get in for that? Like, where does the line draw? Yeah, that's interesting.
You can turn it into something that's quite a funny observation, but I noticed it seriously and I thought about it and I thought, actually, what is the crack with that? Like, if it's the Olympics and the Paralympics or whatever the term for it is, would it be all people that are missing a leg qualified to be in the same race, or could there be someone missing an arm? Or do you know what I mean? Like, if they do, I don't know what they're doing, but say they're doing shot put. What if someone's missing a leg but someone's missing their other arm? Do you know what I mean? How does it? I wonder how they work it out. There must be some sort of system, because the advantages will always vary, won't they?
Yeah, and I imagine, especially like depending on kind of where you've lost your arm, because I guess initially it would be, if you were to lose your arm, it might well be the same place. It might be like at the elbow joint, but then if you've got like a gnarly accident where perhaps you just lost a hand, would that then benefit you? So then is there like measurements, like are they like, your limbs are too long or too short, or
dude, have you Have you ever come across someone in the gym that's torn a bicep?
Never come across anyone in the gym. I'd get fired immediately. There's certain values that I.
You ever come on anyone in the gym? No,
that's what? Sorry, torn a bicep.
Yeah, that's torn a bicep.
No. Like it hasn't happened. I'm guessing that's what you mean. Like has it happened in real time?
No, I mean, have you come across anyone that's previously torn a bicep? Because what it does is it alters the shape of the muscle from there then on. And I seen this guy in the gym, and this is totally going into a new topic, but it just popped into my head then because we were speaking about Paralympians. This guy in the gym that he was training for years, his bicep torn he was doing a max deadlift, and as he took control of the weight and drove up from the legs,
bend in the arm.
Whether he had a slight bend in one of his arms, it tore a bicep on one side. And what had happened is the length of the muscle had shortened from there on out, and it looked really weird because he was quite stacked. This guy, he had quite a lot of muscle mass, and on one side his bicep was huge, and like went the full length from sort of shoulder down to thingy when his arm was extended. And on the other side, even when his arm was extended, it was tiny. It was like right up here. Are you with me? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So like,
so the muscle essentially like rolled upwards and stayed. It almost looked contracted when it wasn't contracted. It looked small when it was lengthened. And what I found really weird about it is it was just as strong as his other arm, but it looked tiny and it looked mad. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just wondering if you've had any experience with that, if you've ever noticed it on anyone.
I've never seen anyone with it, no. Like how I pictured it is like a little lime bicep.
You know what it reminded me a bit of? Have you ever seen professional arm wrestlers? How they literally have one massive arm and then the other arm's tiny. Have you seen it?
Yeah, my friend's somewhat like obsessed with arm wrestling, and he's always like, he'll send me shit and stuff like that and tag me and stuff. And what
I find weird about arm wrestling is it's not. You can have an arm wrestle with someone and you can be stronger than them in every way, and they can beat you on it and leverage. And it's like it's unusual what it takes to be good at an arm wrestle because it doesn't always look like someone should beat you. You know, aesthetically, if they're if they've got a lot more, particularly if they've got longer arms. Do you know what I mean? And I've seen this before. I remember one of my mates was really good at arm wrestling, but he didn't do any training. It was just his one little thing that he was good at, and I've always found it weird. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't just use the arm, do they? It's not like your arm's there and then you're like, boom. It's like you're putting your body into it. You're like turning over.
I wonder what the rule is with arm wrestle, because you hold your arm out forward and then you get them people that bend the wrist right in, which I think gives you an advantage in a way. And is that allowed? Do you know what I mean? I don't know what the crack is.
Yeah, you probably, I don't know. I wonder, like, you probably just, I don't know. Are you allowed to bite people? Are you allowed to, like, wouldn't it be funny to imagine psychological warfare before an arm wrestle?
Like, you're about to do an arm wrestle and you just cupcake the other person.
Just like months before you've even arm wrestled, you've discovered everything there is to know about the guy, and you're fucking like, do you know what I mean? You're like, you're insulting his kids, his family, his mum, his fucking wife, and you're just kind of like, because in 3 months' time, that's it. It's all gonna go down. But it's like, we're gonna arm wrestle in 3 months' time.
You know
I'm willing to die in there, and it's an arm wrestle.
Yeah. You know what I wonder going back in history, because you've got to think. I think from a very early on in humanity, what's always will have happened is we'll have always took the piss out of each other. And I wonder how far back mum jokes go. Like they've been used for thousands. I wonder if mum jokes have been used for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Because they always happen in school, don't they? Whatever school you go, there's always people that use mum jokes.
Just people like part of the audience mocking Jesus, shouting out like, "Your mum's a hoe." Your mama. Yeah.
She ain't no virgin.
I
had a jacket potato for dinner today, dude, and I've not had one for a bit. It was well nice. I literally raced there, but on the way I've rang through to this like sandwich shop on the way, but it's near my shop. And I rang it through, picked it up, and I was literally raced in the shop, and I was waiting for you to send me this code. So I was like nailing this. I was nailing this potato rapidly.
No.
What?
I said hooker.
Yeah. I was nailing this hooker, and then he ate the potato.
Yeah. Like I was nailing this hooker while she held my potato because it was too hot. Couldn't eat.
Yeah, she was blowing on the potato to cool it down.
Yeah, to cool it down.
Cool it. Cool whip.
Cool whip. Why are you saying it like that? Saying what like what? Saying what like what, Brian?
Yeah, so my dilemma before, so I've applied for this. I've filled out the form to get this the MacBook. I have the money in the account, and both times I've filled it out, I've had an email back saying it's been cancelled. So, and this is what I was saying to the guy at the shop. You have it in stock. I have the money for it, and I've filled the form out, and for some unknown reason, it's cancelling it. It's cancelling the order. So how can it not be processed? There, surely you can just go off and make them. Do you know what I mean? You are the shop that I'm buying the item off. You know what I mean?
Like I wonder if like in part it was just that guy that was just like, "Oh, sorry, mate, like I can't do anything." Where like in reality he could have like helped out a bit. He could have like
it's just lazy.
On this system or have you tried petrol bombing it?
No.
Maybe try petrol bombing it next time,
huh? Well, what are you thinking? Of course that's gonna work.
What, Paul? We've talked about this.
We spoke about how you deal with problems from now on.
Yeah, petrol bombs and gummy bears.
That plant that you've got behind you, my mum's got one in her living room, and you know the hanging one, the dangling one behind you.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I thought I meant the hanging basket. I was like,
no, my mum's got one of them, and she's had it. I'd say it about 20 years, and it just looks so withered and pathetic. It's just dangling down with like one leaf on it, and I just feel tight on it when I walk in and think it's certainly flourishing in that corner of the room, proper dry as fucking a shitty little bowl.
You know what my granny said? She's a gardener, and she said feed it fishbone, and I was like, what? And they were like, oh yeah, they love fishbone. Like,
do you know what I think? You know what I think's weird when you wrap your mind around it? How they use shit as fertilizer, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, that shit is packed full of nutrients that are going to feed the plants, and I don't know. It's weird in a way. Have you ever been driving on the motorway and you've seen them big trucks and they're literally firing it into a field, and you can just smell it, and you've got like it comes into your car and you literally can smell it, and you have to shut your windows because the smell's knocking you sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I usually pull over and help the farmer out. Like I'll take a shit in the field, just help him out. But,
don't worry about spraying this bit. I've got it covered.
Yeah, I've got it covered, and I'm just shitting. I'm just shitting into a sieve, and then I'm just shaking the sieve, and it's just going like falling through like over like bits of the field.
Are you shitting directly into your hand and running along the field, picking little bits off?
Just flicking it, yeah.
There's a bit like stuck on your finger at the end, and you're just wiping it on the grass like that, and a bit that hasn't been fertilized. There you go.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. Yeah, it's a good system, isn't it? Like
that'll hold you for a while.
Yeah, like it's a good system, isn't it? Because it's like we all need a poo, we all need to shit in the ground, and then food grows. Genius.
It's
So we've managed what?
It's the food chain doing a full circle, isn't it?
Yeah, but we've managed to fuck it up by being like, nah, let's send our shit somewhere else.
Well, I think I don't know what happens. I don't know if that gets collected or when you go past them.
Whose job is that? You picture some guy like, oh, don't flush that pool. Who are you? What are you doing in my house? Have you got any form of ID before you collect my poo?
I wonder if it's profitable to anyone.
Oh, dude, yeah, for sure.
Because literally, poo is the thing you want around you least. Like it's the thing you're most happy to give away, isn't it? Because when it leaves your body, it technically belongs to you, doesn't it? So, like, it leaves your body, but it's one of the possessions that you most want to give away. So, and it's weird that someone
give away or, dude, you got to get. As I say, you got to get better at giving Christmas presents, bro.
Handout.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, like yeah, like if someone wants to take a shit in your floor, you're probably that's gonna be one of the first things on your to-do list, isn't it?
Your
like,
to-don't list.
On your what? Don't.
To-don't list.
Yeah. Like you wake up in the morning and the puppy's shit everywhere. Like you're not gonna be like, the first thing isn't like, well, I'm probably gonna do some croquet or something. I'm gonna do a bit let's play top trumps, babe. Let's play top trumps.
I've got a newfound respect for how bad a puppy shit can actually smell. That dog we've got, she's so small, and the shit she produces and the smell of it's fucking disgusting. Like, I've been cleaning a poo up, literally like heaving to the point where, have you ever had it where something's making you heave, and as it happens, your heart starts racing and you go really warm, and you're like literally on the verge of being sick.
This sounds like an adrenaline dump, dude. You're experiencing adrenaline.
So I'm cleaning this crap up off the floor, but I'm literally like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not until you break a shit in half until it really smells.
Why can a shit, like a dog shit in the house, and then you discover it a little bit later, and it smells a little bit in the room, but then as soon as you scratch the surface of that, as soon as you disturb it, why does the smell just erupt like that?
Never disturb a sleeping poo.
Never disturb. It wouldn't have applied. I was going to say, when the boat be a rocking, don't come a knocking. I was trying to connect that to poo somehow. But
yeah, it's quite an inspirational quote, that. Like, I hear sometimes you talk to people about, like, I imagine you as well, do you have a lot of people with quotes and stuff, so maybe you could tattoo "never disturb a sleeping poo."
Yeah.
On somebody, on a willing participant.
Don't shit where you... There is a saying, isn't there? Don't shit where you eat, or don't something like that.
It is that. Yeah, it is exactly that. Don't shit where you eat. Yeah. And I believe it means it's an old rocking horse. Go on.
Do go.
No, you go, please.
You go.
The insanely polite podcast. No, please, after you. No, I insist.
Like holding the door open for someone. Yeah, no,
Getting aggressive with it.
Getting all freaky. yeah. So what have you got up for the rest of the day?
Rest of my day. Well, my bud, it's 20 to. Hi guys, 20 to 4 here. It's 20 to 4, November the 23rd, 2000.
Little traffic update for you. Stay off the M6 today.
Stay off
There
that.
is some congestion on the M6 northbound.
Yeah, there's a tractor that's spreading shit everywhere.
Yeah,
And the guy that's
manure.
helping him. And the guy that's helping him. What am I doing today after this? Well, Paul, I think what I'm going to do after this is I really, 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 really want to do some martial arts. I miss it. I've not done it in ages, and I miss it. I want to.
I was thinking that quite recently about wanting to do some boxing. Not so much the trying to get fighting fit, so I could like actually do some competitive fights or anything, but more for the training. I enjoy the training. I enjoy pad work. I enjoy the sessions because they're tough. But
Yeah,
I wonder.
Go on.
I wonder once gyms reopen, will all think activities like that commence again? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm keen to get back on the tennis court, dude. I've got a lot to learn.
Yeah, I find that strange, man. You got this obsession with like tennis all of a sudden. Like, when did that come about? Was it in like when? Yeah, when did it? Was it in?
Oh, here's what happened. In the last lockdown, the first lockdown, I should say, they did. Yes, so obviously that first lockdown, it was a big shock to everyone. They locked everyone down. Everyone was just going on walks. No gyms were open. Everything was weird. And this continued for a couple of months. And I literally seen some announcement, and it was like Boris Johnson like lightening several restrictions. And one of the things he said was outdoor sports can continue. And he was like, one of the things he mentioned tennis courts, and I just thought to myself, I'm going to give tennis a go. Literally, I signed up to a club and then found an instructor and just started doing lessons. But it's so hard. To pick up the technique is mega tough, and it gave me something to work towards. I was doing like a couple of lessons a week and sticking with it, but I'm just trying to get back into my normal training again. I've trained for years. Do you know what I mean? I need to find that motivation again where I put it as part of my daily routine, because once you have a break from it, you've probably not had a massive break from it, but I did the first lockdown. At the start of it, I got some dumbbells and I was doing training in the garden, like doing bits of yoga in the morning, and it just fizzled out. It's so easy. What you find is routine doesn't change overnight. It's like it slowly changes, and it's hard to adapt it back to a place where you are training regularly. And it's part. When you're in a good place with training, you literally wake up, and part of your list of things to do, as important as eating food, is training, because you see it as an essential part of your day, don't you? Mm-hmm. And once you lose that thought process of being thinking that way, being proactive, it's hard to get back. And I've never had to do this before, because I've never had a massive break right from when we was in the army together and we was training all the time. I kept that up right up until the first lockdown, and I know you have too. Do you know what I mean?
It's a psychological, yeah. I have been in situations where I've not trained, and then it's a psychological battle then, because you go from especially bodybuilding, I can speak from. Like, I feel like with kickboxing and Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu is a little bit different. You kind of, you go there, you get humbled, whatever, but it's a bit different. You can come away from it and go back to it. But with bodybuilding, I find especially, or the likes of that, it's a psychological battle, because you go in there, you're not happy with how you look, you're not happy with how you've been eating, you're not happy with your training, perhaps you haven't been training, and then the first session just seems pointless and the second seems a bit pointless, and it just at the beginning for me, and I think a lot of people through my clients as well, I see it in clients and other people, is it is a psychological battle, because you're starting off and you don't have the positive momentum, you aren't seeing change, you aren't feeling change. And so and I think we tend to, if we're in a bad situation, we tend to think we let our minds convince us that that's the way it is. So like if you're out of shape or you're out of training or you're out of experience with it, you then think that that's always going to be the case. You're like, this is it now. Like I am not happy with, I am not happy with my training at the moment. I'm not happy with my physique, how I look, how I feel.
No,
I feel good. But I'm not happy with my physique.
Yeah, I find that, so going back to what you were saying, is with training, the issue is it's time consuming. It's essentially it's tough, and if you're pushing yourself, it's tough. And a lot of the time, you can be doing things that are unpleasant if you're going through like arduous workout routines. So there is always reasons to not train, but there's a reward system there. The endorphins, it makes you feel good, and then alongside with the fact of the physical change you see in yourself. So you're constantly fighting between those parameters, aren't you? Where you're looking at well, the reason I do this, it isn't just for the pleasure of doing it. It's for the benefit mentally, and then physically while I'm training, I'm seeing differences in my shape. I'm losing weight. I'm feeling better in the day. But at the same time, when you've not done that, when you've not thought like that for a while, and you've not kept that up, to go back into it's hard. And I've never had this sort of gap from training where I'm at a point where, for me, training is a lifestyle choice, and it's something you choose to do indefinitely while you're alive, while you're living. If you choose a healthy lifestyle where you want to train, you don't think, I'm going to train for a couple of months, get in shape, and then I'm going to start going out on the piss all the time and drinking. For you, if you choose that path in life, it's something you take up in, and that's my view on it. Like I don't feel like bits of training here and there always constitute a healthy lifestyle. It's something that needs to happen, and it needs to become habit. So it's almost like your hobby. Some people like going to the pub, some people like doing certain things. If you make training your hobby and you enjoy doing it, you will naturally have a more healthy, active lifestyle. And as I was saying, that I don't think I've lost that thought process. I still think like that. But when you have a gap from training, that's previous to that, that's part of your daily process. You do it every day. I will train today. That's part. So, and you work your other things around your training. What's that one?
Continue. Pardon?
Please, you were saying.
Go on, I insist.
Yeah. So as I was saying, when you've had that gap from training, to bring yourself back to a level where it's an important part of the day, it's not easy, and I now understand that, and I've never been in a position to have this sort of break. Do you know what I mean?
Mm. Oh, mate.
So I respect the difficulty in getting back on the horse, is what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? Ultimately, summarising what I was saying there is, I'm now humbled by the fact that it's not easy to get back into it. It's not easy to make it routine again. Do you know what I mean?
And not only that, you understand, you are a person, just to paint the picture, you're a person that has had in a lifetime of training. You've been in all sorts of different training, be it bodybuilding, powerlifting, cardio, log carrying, ready for battle in the army, boxing. You've been through all those different aspects of training as well. So you know the benefit, and you've been there. And so imagine somebody that's never been there, and somebody that's like has to make that switch go off in their head. And in the beginning, imagine how like you just like if there was a way of getting it across to people, being like, just really, really trust me that your level, what will happen in your life is it will almost go up a level. It almost like burp, 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 like a little Super Mario
Yeah,
when he gets the mushroom. You know, when Mario gets the mushroom and he builds up.
yeah.
Like that's what will happen when you train. And dude, mate, honest to God, right? This is what I've discovered as well, is when I fucking don't train, I'm a psychopath. Like I give myself 16 days until I legit murder someone if I didn't train. Like if I didn't train, yeah, 16 days before I actually murder someone. Like full blown out murder.
When I was listening to you, then I've just noticed. I've just noticed an interesting point, because when you're aware of training, when you understand the health benefits of training, when you're competent in a certain subject. So I've done the courses, I understand how to train, I understand on a cellular level how the body works, I understand muscles, I understand why these muscles need utilizing, otherwise the ability and performance of them will diminish. So what I'm saying is, even when you know that stuff, you're not immune to the fact that you have to train. You can still hit a point where you don't feel motivated and don't feel like you can't be bothered, and you almost feel more. You almost feel in a worse place for it, because you think in your head, "I should know better." I've paid a lot of attention to training over the years, and for me to just slip off the wagon and decide, "Oh, I'm not going to do it today," and today becomes tomorrow, days become weeks, weeks become months, and you find you're not a different person, but because of the practices you've been doing over that time, it's lost a bit of importance each day, and you need to get yourself back into a position where you're looking at seeing it as a necessity back again. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that process, I think as long as it's taken me to lose interest in training, it will take an equal amount of time to get back. So if, say, I've had 6 months of being slack, and I see a realistic 6-month goal to be back in a position where I was in, where it is routine again. Do you know what I mean?
And this is the struggle that I imagine a lot of people would have, is when you're going to the gym, right, and you look good and you're training and you've had, let's say, 3 months, let's say the gym opens back up, and you've had 3 to 6 months of training 4 or 5 times a week, bodybuilding, eating well, and you're in really good physique, your physique looks great. It's so easy to then continue. But the hardest it'll ever be is when you're beginning and you're starting off.
Maintenance is easier than building, is what you're saying, isn't it?
Kinda, but I even think for bulking, if I'm bulking, I'm trying to put on weight, I'm trying to put on size, I'm being consistent, I'm looking good, compared to if you're perhaps out of shape and you're not in the right shape that you want to be in, then all of a sudden that just getting that momentum going, getting that freight train moving is just going to take a lot of willpower and discipline. But then as soon as it's there and the momentum is there, it's easy then. It's easy.
So I can compare this in a way to the time I spent in jail. During the initial year, when you're in there at first, to break down the time you've got to spend in there, it's harder to see the finish line, and you're sort of thinking, I've got these couple of years, and as the days progress, the more days you've done, the easier it is to do the days you've got left. So as you progress through, massively hitting the midway point was a big moment for me, because it now meant I've got less days left than I've already done. And I can compare that in a way to what you're saying about training, because you've already done that previously. You've done them days, do some more. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when you're getting started, you've got to start the process of developing yourself. You look like you're gonna fart again, dude.
I did. I hope the mic picked that up.
I didn't hear it anyway.
Another little fart, a little ripple, little raspberry ripple. It did sound like a ripple as well. It sounded like the ripple over, like when you skim how I imagine, like if you was to skim a pebble across a lake.
Yeah.
Like if you'd have microphoned that noise, that's how my fart came out.
Like each decibel of the fart was at regular intervals.
Yeah.
Steadily. Like,
Yeah. And an irregular decimaled trump.
I noticed we've dedicated a lot of this podcast to toilet talk. Shit's been brought up a lot, and I don't know what's bringing it down. But
shout out to Pooh.
Yeah, it's a real conversation starter.
I think
it really just gets the blood flowing. If you've got nothing to say, just talk about shitting.
Yeah. Our previous one as well, we were talking about shitting.
Yeah, maybe we need to, maybe as part of progressing into the podcast and learning more about ourselves, we need to learn less about shit.
Oh, dude, you say about learning about yourself. I'm glad you've said that, because podcast is therapy, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that there's no other scenario where I find that when you're talking to someone, when you're having a conversation, a lot of the time it's on the move, and that conversation doesn't. You're not really thinking a lot of the time about what you're saying, but when you're recording something and you're mindful of the fact that someone might listen to it, you're almost more. You see the conversation as being more important, and it's more. What's being said's more profound, and you're taking the views better. Why are none of them being heard?
I don't know. Let me try again.
Yeah, that one was heard. That's the first one I've heard.
On the subject of profound. Go on, Paul. You're talking about our podcast being profound.
No, not necessarily. I don't mean to others. I mean,
no, I know.
When you're adding the aspect of something being recorded, it changes the element of the conversation, because it's no longer something between us. It's something that might be heard by someone else, and then you're almost. I wouldn't say you're adding pressure, but in a way, it does alter the direction of the conversation a bit, if that makes sense.
Certainly, man. You become aware of your bad habits and perhaps how entertaining or the lack of entertaining that you are. Like, you and I first, like, we said it, didn't we? We said straight away, like, we both were like, I was like, oh, I fucking hate listening, like, I hate myself. And you were like, yeah, me too, bro. And I'm like, I'm cool with listening to what you got to say. And then you said vice versa. You were on board with me.
Why does your own voice, when it enters your eardrum in like a recording, does it sound so unusual?
Yeah, it turns your shit a different color, doesn't it? It's like it
actually makes you think, do I actually speak like that?
I noticed that I have fillers where I'm like, so trying to be more mindful of not doing that.
Unless I'm on a bit of a roll with what I'm saying, if I'm in the moment where I'm already ahead of myself in what I'm saying, I can reel off the conversation. But sometimes I start speaking really slowly, and that's a bad habit of mine. Do you know what I mean? It can make your point sound very boring.
Yeah, too much pausing. That's what I thought as well about me. I pause too much, and I'm like, look at this motherfucker pausing as if it.
But at the same time, you wouldn't want to do a podcast and the entire thing seem like a running commentary, like a boxing match. Oh, he steps forward and swings it with the right hand, and then he's stepping back. Do you know what I mean? It's like so. I think there's a middle ground there, isn't there, where you wouldn't want full gaps where we're just looking, thinking, right, what do we say next? You'd have like, but at the same time, in a natural conversation, there's going to be it's going to be a steadily up and down. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to too fast or too slow.
Please mind the gap. Yeah, but in a podcast, you don't have to necessarily mind the gap. You can let the gap be, and it's okay.
Don't mind the gap, be the gap.
Don't mind the gap, put your mind into the gap. so that the gap is your mind and you are the gap. Be like water, be like Gappy, be like Gappy. Maybe you should get a dog and call it Gappy.
Gapster.
Yeah.
What are you having for tea tonight, mate?
Thai curry.
Nice. You answered that quickly.
Yeah, because I fucking know what I'm doing.
Are you prepping it or are you ordering it in?
Just prepping it. Well, I'm not gonna prep it. I'm not gonna be like, come on, Thai
Crystal
curry.
meth in it.
What?
You crystal meth in it.
Crystal meth in it. Yeah, prepping. What does that mean, crystal meth in? I was about to do a little funny.
Don't know. It just rhymed with prepping, so I threw it out there.
Crystal mething, rapping, mapping. Yeah, I'm not gonna prep it though. I'm not gonna be like, come on, Thai curry, you got this. Get out there. You're a fucking. You come on.
Get out there and win this for us. As you're chopping the onion.
Yeah, do your
like you're chopping the onion, going, come on, baby, you're the backbone of this meal. You've got to really stick together on this. Don't let me down.
Covering up the ears of the carrots because I don't want them to hear that I've.
You don't want the other ingredients.
Let me finish. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fucking, every time you interrupt me, I'm gonna pause and then I'm gonna stop talking for 5 minutes, and then you gotta fill the fucking gap for 5 minutes, right? And you're gonna ask me questions. I'm gonna sit there with my arms folded like this, right?
Tantrum.
And I'm gonna fucking wink at the camera so everyone knows that this is my little thing that I do. Where every time you interrupt me, people will notice it, and I'll just be there with my arms folded, and I won't say anything, and you have to feel it, and you're all awkward.
I get excited when I've got something to say. I think it might be a form of Tourette's. It erupts out of me sometimes.
To be honest with you, mate, I think keep doing it. Like, I do joke when I say don't interrupt me, because it's a bit like, dude, you know how many times when you're talking and being serious, I have to not say things that I think are hilarious in the moment, and I just want to interrupt you, and I think, if I say that just then, it's all about timing, so I just like, boom, and I don't do it, and I'm like, but then your conversation,
sometimes you should.
Your conversation changes, and then it flows, and I'm like, I can't, and then I have to like keep listening and just.
I find that a lot sometimes. What can happen if you're speaking for quite a while? At the start of what you're saying, I can think of a response to it. Have you ever found that you're speaking for long enough for that response to be lost, and then you think, oh, I quite wanted to say that. Do you know what I mean? Because I felt it was relevant, but then the bit that you've just said spread out to almost a different point where saying that's lost its relevance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's how you have to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because if you're talking to me and all I'm thinking is, I want to mention. It's
cause and effect, isn't it? We're responding to each other. So sometimes. Yeah. Cause, effect, and interruptions.
Yeah.
No, I try and be mindful of that, but I am sometimes really bad with it.
What happens though is, what I've noticed is, you've got like in your mind, you've got all these different, and this is why I enjoy our conversations, bro. And this is why, I enjoy our friends as well, because I can do this conversation. I can have this type of conversation with everyone. Is like, you have all these responses, and you have your ideas, and you have your own little narratives that you run, and your opinions and whatnot, and that's in your head. That's staying there, and obviously your ideas and your opinions will change depending on who you're around, who you listen to. However, when you have a conversation with someone, like, if you just completely listen, and if you're cut off, you're completely silent and still in your mind, you listen to every single word that the person's saying, and you just keep listening to that word, you go back to that word, little gems happen, because like, what will happen is you create a space, and in that space, creativity comes in your head that you haven't ever had before, like a thought that you've never thought before, and it's completely brand new. And that's
like a form of meditation, isn't it? As you're listening, it's like listening to the sound of your own breathing. So in a way, it can be tranquil to while you're listening to the other person's point, you can reach a state where you're not thinking about your worries, you're not stressed, you're in the moment, you're filled with what's going on in the conversation. So no, I think in a way, having a conversation in a way is a skill, isn't it? It's something that you build over time, and that's one thing that I think with doing this podcast is something you will get better at. You can put yourself out there and think, right, we're gonna talk some shit on here, see if anyone's interested in what we've got to say, and then you can just let it flow naturally. You can sort of think, well, someone listening to this might be thinking it's a load of gibberish, and then someone else might think, well, I agree with some of that, or yeah, because as I was saying, when you're listening to something, a lot of the time it is taking your mind off of the shit. So in a way, that's why I think podcasts are so, the popularity of them. Yeah, the popularity's only got bigger. It's getting a wider audience, and it's massive now, isn't it?
Yeah, and I feel like there's enough people on this earth to impact. Like, I feel confident that we'll have at least 3 people listening in 4 years' time, because there's 8+ billion people on the earth. So if there's 8 billion, I reckon 3 people will be listening in like 4 years' time.
Yeah.
I'm confident of that. Call me arrogant, call me whatever you like, but guess what? I'm telling you, you hear it. It's here and now. You're hearing it here and now. That 3 people will be listening to this in 4 years' time after we're like a fucking 1,000 episodes in.
So like we do continue this week by week. We put some content out there. We finally get 3 listeners, and you're just walking around with the biggest ego ever. Like you're rich and famous.
Wearing fur.
Like you go into the shops and someone doesn't recognise you, and you're like, what do you mean you don't recognise me? I'm the Casual Podcast, the Casual Journey Podcast. You must have heard of me.
Go into Costa or Starbucks, and they're like, what's the name? And you're just like, good one. What's the name? Fucking.
Sorry, I don't accept photos.
Yeah.
Like someone's walking past you and they're clearly not going to engage with you, and you just lean into them and say, I'm sorry, I can't do a picture at this moment in time.
Palming them off. Please.
Yeah. Just give me some space. Back off.
Like an old lady, like she's got like her 80th birthday and she's got like a little birthday meal, and you head over and completely disrupt it, and you're telling them to not disrupt your meal, and you're like, guys, please just stop fucking disrupting my meal. I'm trying to eat over here, and they're all just doing their own little thing. Fucking Barbara, 80 years old, she's deaf in one ear, and you're fucking screaming in her good ear, like, Barbara, get the fuck back, Barbara.
Like you shout the waiter over. You've been seated, and you shout the waiter over, and you're like, "Excuse me, waiter, can you move me to somewhere a bit more discreet, because too many of my fans are in here." And you're like clutching a tip in your hand, like a £5 note, and you pass it to her saying it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the minimum.
Or you say something really cool, like, "Waiter, find me some shade." Give him some money.
Whilst wearing shades.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, like I already know my outfit. When we've got 5 listeners, I'm gonna have star glasses on. I'm gonna be wearing fur. I'm gonna be bare chested, and I'm gonna have fucking diamonds around my neck. I'm gonna fucking put beads in my beard, and the beads.
I'm gonna dress very similar to Ron Burgundy. That red suit.
Gonna grow yourself a mustache.
Mustache. Yeah, I feel like that's my approach. Or better still, you could just walk around Bristol with a cardboard cutout of my face on your face, and I'll do the same, and they'll be like, "Shit, they've swapped places."
Nice, yeah. Psychological.
Where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
And we'll do the podcast. We'll really throw people off, because we'll still wear them disguises whilst doing the podcast, and like, shit, they've got different voices.
Yeah, nice. And then I'm like, I'm here in my studio, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought Lee was in the van.
Yeah.
Keep them guessing.
Keep them guessing.
That's hot. Okay, on that note, dude, it's 4:10. So I vote next time, what we should do is we should pick a time, and then you should just be on time, and that'd be awesome.
No interruptions.
Yeah, otherwise what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pin you down and fart in your mouth.
Fart in your face?
No, mouth.
Get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah. I'm going to fucking, yeah, you say that to the waiter. Can you find me some shade? Get the fuck out of my face. As soon as
Get the fuck out of my face. Fuck Facebook.
I'm gonna use these two fingers here to pinch your nostrils. So I'm using my index finger and my middle one, and I've got them like bent over little bunny ears, and I'm gonna fucking squeeze your fucking nostrils until you got to open your mouth up. And I'm gonna fart in it.
Right. Okay.
By the way, Perry's I spoke to him and he said he's gonna come on as well. Well, actually, I'm going to do a podcast with me and him on Thursday. And I said to him, all right, do you want me to text you like your mum, like in the morning and then in the afternoon and the evening? So I got texting throughout the day. Remember, Perry, you got a podcast on tonight. All right, love? And right. I'm sure after that, we'll get it on. Maybe on the weekend, dude. Get one on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday evening with Perry.
When are we doing our next one with just us two?
Well, in a week's, just over a week, isn't it? If we do one with Perry, who knows though, he might not. So we'll figure it out, dude. We'll do it on the week. What are we on now? Monday. So we'll do it next weekend.
Yeah, okay.
Awesome. Have you got anything to say to the few million
masses?
The masses, yeah.
I'm speaking directly to the nation. /
you listening back.
Yeah. Our listener.
Yeah, careful though, because you know with all the influence and that. But yeah, any little.
I think quite soon we could be influencing elections and shit.
Yeah, imagine like fucking your dog ends up like what's your dog's name? Sandy. Slippy.
Sandy.
Samsonite.
Slippy Samsonite.
I was nowhere near. Yeah, Sandy's president. You've got a French bulldog as an English president.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, sweet. No, enjoyed that. We'll get back together in a few days whenever you're ready. I find that I'm more available than you. I might not always be on time, but I seem to be quite open. So I'll sort of see when you
coming around, just bums around, nothing all day. What are you up to? I ring him and he's like, I've just got ice cream, bare chested. I've not even used a bowl. I've just got ice cream fucking on my chest. It's melting and I'm just eating it. And that's what he's doing all the time. Every time I ring him, he's got a different bit of dessert on his chest, bare chested, every time. I'm out there.
Right. Let's wrap this shit up.
On that note, love you. Goodbye.
Peace.